All right. So I've been having a little bit of fun with this with this title this morning. Mega. I couldn't figure out how to get that big announcer voice that says mega price drop. But anyway, here's the question, right? Uh, are we looking at the next housing crash? Is 2008, going to be not so distant past that it's going to revisit us? Are we going to see something really that, we've been trying to avoid? Okay, we're going to go over that. We're going to go over some of the metrics. We're going to put your hearts at ease. That, I guess, is the good news. Let the blood pressure come down a little bit. And again, got to be very clear. You guys need to subscribe because we're going to talk about local information. Okay, we're going to talk about the Puget Sound region. We're not going to be talking about what's going on in Arizona, in Texas, and in Florida, Cincinnati. We're not going to talk about areas that have no relevance to us. Okay, that I guess is really what the important part is to understand that our market, all things considered, actually is doing really well. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the why. Now, part of this and part of the title for the show today, MSNBC did an article, did a presentation based on the fact that they're saying that Seattle is going to be number 4 on this major reset type of thing, or most volatile. That's what it was. Most volatile markets. Okay, well, in perspective to what, right? Because they really didn't give really any metrics that I saw that gave any form of consistency other than a generalized comment. And an opinion is fine on one thing, but in the news media, I think you need to be a little bit more cautious because let's talk a little bit about why, right? All things considered, our area is a economic ranking of number 3, meaning we are number 3 of the best. Sure, some of the West Coast, some of the crazy California markets, and are they sustainable? That's a really good question. We have a lot of people that have moved into our area. We have our demographics. Everything is doing well. Yes, our home prices are up 20.1%. A lot of that was driven by supply and demand. Duh. Okay. Now, we have seen a doubling of our inventory. And you might say, oh my gosh, George, that's a lot of properties. No, it's really not. We're still less than what we should have. We're at about 1.5 months of inventory. I think it was 1.5 months of inventory. We should have, 3, 4, 5 months of inventory. 4 to 6 is considered a balanced market. So we're just starting to get back. Sure, what was the biggest kicker? Interest rates. Although they've come down almost a full point. We're at, basically 4.99% no cost today for mortgage rates. Well, that's awesome. We were up in the 6s. Now, the question is, will we get back down to 4.5? Well, we'll go over that. Okay, look, we've got, as far as housing starts, we have 7.3 homes for every 1,000 people. That is good as far as, needing. Our foreclosure rates are one of the lowest, along with our default rates are the lowest. And listen, here's one of the biggest things. The biggest 2 major critical things happened this time versus 2008. One, people aren't underwater in equity. They actually have equity in their home. 2, the amount of money that people put down to buy a home, excuse me, is totally different. Before they were doing 0, you could borrow your down payment. You could do 120% financing, 120% loan to value, 115. It was crazy. We're not seeing that now. Right now, we're seeing very solid numbers. And that's why we're in a completely different boat. And in fact, part of the recession, which has got to be self-inflicted, that's why they're ripping the Band-Aid off, despite what the administration is doing in their craziness and whatnot. The feds are doing what they need to do, which, hey, listen, anybody can be a sideline coach, all right? Nobody wants that job. Powell, I doubt, wants that job, Okay, I'm sure that he would rather have something that makes him look a lot better and is a much easier cakewalk. But they're not repeating what they did in 2018, which they did little incremental adjustments, which only exacerbated the issue. So they're doing what's called a hard reset. Okay, all right. Well, no, nobody likes it. Granted, but is it effective? Because remember that one of the three things that needed to happen. Nope, it's not on there. One of the three things that needed to happen was that we needed things to slow down. We needed inventory to increase. The third thing, we need confidence back in the treasuries, back in the bonds, so that the investors would move back into it. When the bond values, which is publicly traded again, remember that in the stock market, look at your 10-year treasuries, great metric to watch. As they improve, interest rates come down. Okay? The only way that happens is by stifling the inflation. Yes, they have to do it by doing certain things, and slowing down the market is one of them. Self-inflicted recession is what will fix the problem. But here's the thing. It also saves, it protects your investment. Okay? Look, nobody benefits from a massive housing crash. Nobody does, right? So if they stifle this now, slow everything down, that protects and sustains that value, which is incredibly important. Okay? Now, let's keep this important. Now, actives, they're double, which is awesome. Okay? But you're asking, George, I don't think anybody's buying homes. Horse pucky. Look, we had 1,649 that came on. We had 1,470 went off. All of these numbers are about 300 homes per week short of where we should be. Not unexpected based on everything that's happening. So when we take a look at this, and we take a look at these numbers, we look at, hey, even our solds are still rolling along. Hey, yes, they should be 200 to 300 homes higher. Why? If they were, we wouldn't be seeing this. We'd be seeing zero. Okay? But understand, we're also comparing numbers to a record-setting year. In my 30 years of practicing real estate, record-setting years. I have never seen the numbers and the pricing and the escalations ever in my history. Now, are they starting to pull back? Sure. But again, let's use the analogy of the car. Look, if if you stump on that accelerator and you're going really fast, okay, and you let off the accelerator and you get back down to 55, which is the speed limit on the freeway, during the pandemic, people were up to 100 miles an hour, okay? Well, just because you pull back off that gas pedal, just because there's a few more people out there and you slow it back down to, 65, that doesn't mean you're going backwards, okay? You're just resetting back to the speed that you should be as you're moving in a traditional speed on the freeway, okay? It's the same thing. So in other words, when we talk about market value, right? The market value is based on a home, what people are willing to pay for it. But we have to set aside the fact that you can't consider in a crazy market what a buyer is willing to pay. That is not a normal market. That would be a spike. That's what we call an outside of the normal market trend. We're getting back down to a normal market trend. So if you are looking at going on market with your home, you need to pull it back and take a look at what was the traditional sales price, not the final. What did the traditional sales price say? And then translate that forward. Now, I'm not saying you go back down to 2020 or 2019 pricing. You just can't look at what happened, last year at this time. You can't look at the months of December through April. You can't look at those. Completely different market spectrum because of interest rates and what people are willing to do. Just so people are saying, George, there's massive price reductions. There's 40%, 46% price reductions. Okay, well, normally in our area, it's about 36.7, 36.4, something like that. Okay, well, that disparity of 12% is not as big of a deal now. Sure, we have some people, we have sellers that have what I would consider a skewed perspective of real estate values, okay? But they're coming back into perspective very quickly, and they have to, or their home is not going to sell. Now, Redfin also did a really important study where they started taking a look at things, and it really kind of refutes part of what King 5 was saying. And there's a lot. Okay, listen. All right, let's get real. There's lies, there's damn lies, and then there's statistics, right? Because depending on how you set the parameters of your statistics, it can, I don't want to say skew. Skew is not a good word. It gives you a different answer, right? The nice thing is these are done on a constant, okay? And you'll tell by, and you can see each and every week, the constant of these metrics. And there's no funny business because it has to be, well, they have to be real in order for you to make a really good business decision. So when you take a look at this and you look at the chart, one of the key things, and I have them circled there, one of the key things to understand is that our market has gone up 19.6%, and our list to sales price, which is a super important metric to understand, okay? And what that says is, hey, George, I'm listing my home here, and I've just now sold it over here. And what is the disparity between those two, okay? Well, we are down, yes, I understand that, we are down 0.6%. That's it. Okay, we're not, so when we talk about mega price drop, no. Now, are there sellers out there that were too aggressive in the market and or tactically dropped the price of their home a significant amount to attract buyers to come in? Sure. Now, was it real? Meaning, were they just overpriced, or were they using it as a marketing tactic? Could have been either one. It depends. It's case by case. There's a few of them in the luxury range that, hey, they just actually brought their home into closer to where the market value would be. Okay, well, just because you overprice your property doesn't mean, and then you reduce it significantly, doesn't mean that the market's crashing. You just missed the market. Okay, simple enough. Now, if it is a market tactic, hey, that's just a tactic. That again doesn't mean that the market is crashing. You're just trying to make a statement. Anyway, so with that, when we take a look at that information, we looked at this, the NBC channel. We looked at also the Federal Housing Financing Agency, the FHFA. Along with that, U.S. Census Bureau and Atom Data Solutions. When you take a look at all of these, you get some very normal numbers. Atom is ATTOM if you want to go take a look at that. Great real estate information site, mortgage website, statistical website. Kind of like Steve Ballmer did. Snaps to Steve Ballmer and his group out of Bellevue created a non-political statistics website. Fabulous site. Oh my gosh, just absolutely fabulous. And it's very politically neutral. They just tell you how it is. Kind of like this show. They just tell you how it is. Maybe I should have Steve Ballmer come in here. Wouldn't that be fun? I wonder if I can get him in here. Yeah, I'll send him the video. Maybe he'll come in. Anyway, with that, so remember, as you guys are going through, the market is doing super well. We are still moving homes every single day, okay? But here's some key things for you to remember. As a seller, look, putting your home in the MLS is not marketing. Please understand that. You must pay to play. You must have and be working with somebody who has a marketing plan. Not just, I'm going to put up a sign, I'm going to put it in the MLS, I'm going to sit back and go, where's my offers? Can't do that. That is not marketing, okay? Marketing is actually proactively getting out and marketing on your different websites, marketing to pay-per-click, marketing to get eyeballs in front of the property. That is marketing. Remember the analogy? Just because you have a product, and I have my can of soup, and I put it into a grocery store, okay? And I go into that grocery store and I put my can of food there. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to go, oh my gosh, I need to go get that can of soup because that is like the best can of soup ever. I'm just going to go get it. It's not going to happen. They have to market. That's why you have your Campbell's soup commercials, good for those of you that remember that, or your Progresso or whatever it might be, okay? We see food commercials all the time. But why? Why would you see that? You have a store there. You have a store with everything there because you have to differentiate yourself. You have to get eyeballs on the product just for them to see it. So remember that you need to make sure that you are marketing, and make sure that they are not just putting in the MLS and not showing you a fancy flyer. That doesn't work. Never, it really never has. It's just a perception. All right. So there was a comment that was made by, I believe it was Realtor.com, and it says, although Seattle has often been pinned over the years as a city with severe housing crunch and affordability issues, the state's sustained economic growth has helped place it in the strong position on this ranking list. Additionally, the foreclosure rates and underwater mortgages are quite low. That is the list that we're talking about that put the Seattle areas, plural, Puget Sound, as number 3, actually, technically Washington State, because we have a very strong economic picture, and it is rounded in many ways. Sure, we got a lot of tech, but we have a lot of other things that go with it. So if your question is, are we circling with the Tidy Bowl man? The answer is no, we're not. We're actually doing quite well. We said, hey, remember I was begging sellers for more inventory? So all of those sellers, thank you for giving the buyers opportunity and homes to look at. You know, it is so much nicer. It is a much better piece. It is a much better piece for everybody, right? We just need to adjust from doing 110 on the freeway with nobody there like we did, you know, I think it was April. I can't tell you how many people that said that they got on the freeway right after the first lockdown in 2020. You know, you get on the freeway and it was like, there's like nobody there. It was the strangest thing. I go to work in the morning, I'm like, there's like nobody here, you know, and people were getting tickets for, 100 miles an hour on the freeway. Unheard of. In fact, it made the news because it wasn't just 1 or 2, right? So it's the same thing. We're just now getting back down to what the normal freeway speed is. And that's different than a market crash. It is a perspective of, well, it's a perspective. Anyway, if you have any questions, make sure you subscribe. This is a free channel. Share the channel, please, because by sharing the channel, it just improves the metrics so that other people can see it and make a really good business decision. There's never any selling here, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make your remarks, like it, and all that stuff that we're supposed to do. In the meantime, you guys have a beautiful day. I'll talk to you later. Take care.